What is going on, world? What's up, everyone? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new Starcraft 2 video. This one is between two players on the WCS Pro circuit. Spawning here in the top left hand corner of Neon Violet Square LE, playing with the red Zerg pieces. He's currently down in the series, but certainly not out of it just yet. His name is Lambo. And his opponent, the bottom right hand corner of the map, playing with the blue Zerg pieces. He's currently up in this series and wants to keep it rolling in his favor. His name is Snute. So guys and girls, game number one really came down to nice defense by Snute. I think that he also had some, really a nice timing push there early on in the game when he saw Lambo going for the quick 3 hatcheries. So I'll be very interested to see what Snute decides to do here in game number 2 against his opponent, who, by the way, Lambo is a lot of fun to watch, but he's just, of course, not quite as experienced as his opponent, Snute. Snute has been in the WCS Pro scene for a number of years and has played absolutely incredibly, placed well at many of them. He's won some WCS stops. He's an absolute beast with the Zerg pieces. My big question, though, is if you're Lambo and you're coming into game number 2, what do you decide to do in this game? Do you go for something a little bit more standard, as in not going for the very fast 3 bases, instead of maybe going to 2 bases and then getting your spawning pool, which is exactly what he's doing right now? So he's getting that hatch gas pool opener, very standard. The same can be said for Snute. So we kind of got answer that question very quickly was Lambo. And I like to see that he's kind of going for something a little bit, maybe not quite as risky. Instead of deciding to get your economy booming, he decides to kind of be prepared for whatever might be coming from his opponent. Looks like a couple of queens as well as that metabolic boost is going to be coming in for Snute. So generally speaking, getting the 2 queens is great. Getting a lot of queens, though, is definitely the way to go as a Zerg player. It's very important to get a lot of queens out for that stellar defense as well as that creep spread. And the transfuses definitely help as well in as the game kind of moves onward. You can see that production tab is relatively similar by both players. So in the early stages of the game, you'll see production tabs are very similar as far as these matchups are concerned. They kind of change as time goes on. Lambo's deciding to get that 3rd hatchery out. The same can be said for Snute, though. So it does look like we're going to have a handful of Zerglings moving across the map. Baneling nests are going to be coming in or morphing in by both of our players. And it does look like that metabolic boost is going to be finishing up just a little bit sooner than Lambo's. Snute's is going to be finishing up in about 5 seconds. Lambo's will be following relatively shortly after that. But when it comes down to these timings, sometimes it can be a matter of the game when these upgrades do come in. You have to always keep a very close eye on exactly what each player is kind of deciding to do and the timings on the upgrades. A couple of these Zerglings are going to run in for Snute. He's going to try to get as much scouting information as possible. We are going to see that evolution chamber is going to be coming in for Lambo. So he's probably going to get those +1 upgrades here shortly. We are going to also see, though, out of Snute, the layer is going to come in. So he's going to be able to start getting those higher tier layer-based units as he starts to try to saturate all 3 of those bases. The same can be said, though, for Lambo, who's trying to drone up and get as many drones as possible. Because when it comes down to it, you're really going to see that the ZvZ matchup comes down to the number of drones in many instances that are on the playing field that will dictate the outcome of the game, simply because the person who out macros the other, generally speaking, is going to be the victor in these games. And this was a best-of-5 series at the WCS in Leipzig, and it's a big matchup because if you lose this in your Lambo, you're going down 2-0 against a very solid Zerg player. So you gotta be very aware of that. Look at these production tabs, how similar they are. We are going to see the Roach Warren's going to be coming in by both of these players. So it's almost like they're reading each other like a book at this point in the game. But Roach Warren's going to be coming in. And, you know, if you win this game as Snute, you're going to have a nice advantage over your opponent. You're going to have a really nice opportunity to 3-0 your opponent and move on to the semifinals, which, of course, this was the round of 16 at the WCS in Leipzig. I always say Leipzig or Leipzig. I always say it wrong, guys. Leipzig. But that being said, we are starting to see what both our players are deciding to do as far as their upgrades go. We're going to see Nematized Carapace coming in now for Lambo. We're also going to see the Glowry Constitution being researched by both of our players, as well as those +1 upgrades as well. Fourth base is going to be started by both players, so both players are really giving each other a lot of respect right now. Both taking the gold expansion on Neon Violet Square LE. It looks like Lambo is going to start to maybe move out with some of his units, that being Zerglings, moving across the map, trying to maybe see if they can pick off a couple of these drones if they're lucky. But that said, we are going to see 4 Banelings being morphed in, and another 4 being morphed in over here. But, oh, Snute is absolutely on top of it. Beautiful play. Snute had a feeling. He must have had a feeling that something was going to be coming. We are going to see the Dropper Lord's going to try to do some drop play harassment. And I love this decision making if it would have worked for Lambo. Unfortunately, Snute is just that good. This guy is an absolutely incredible Zerg player who really can kind of smell things out before they even happen. But that being said, there's really not very many drones here, and I don't know how much damage this is going to really deal, if anything, at this point. Snute is going to see that there is a Dropper Lord that is coming in, but my God, this is all not going Lambo's way whatsoever. It does look like he's going to drop some of these Banelings, and the Banelings are actually going to get some nice connections there, and the rest of the army is going to start moving towards that 3rd or 4th base location. So here we go. This is exactly what Lambo was kind of hoping on doing. It's going to get cleaned up, though. He's trying to drop in multiple angles at once. Got a couple of these roaches on the high ground, but not really doing enough damage in my opinion. Snute is a macro monster. He's starting to get a very scary army together. Lambo, of course, is not going to be whatsoever out of this thing just yet. But that being said, these two armies look like they are about to clash at this point, and it looks like Snute has got a little bit of just a better army. Or I should say not better, but bigger army, at least at this point in the game. Snute looks like he is starting to move out, and at the same time, Lambo has just been kind of trying to split up his army somewhat to try to do as much damage as possible. But here we go. Snute is going to jump on this 4th base location, which is the gold base of Lambo, and it looks like he just has a little bit too much here. It does look like Snute is starting to really do some damage to a lot of these units. Snute is starting to pounce on this army, and it looks like he is going right after that 4th base location. Snute, somehow, someway, once again, is just out macroing his opponent, just getting so many sheer amounts of units, whether it being roaches or ravagers. It is absolute nightmare, at least at this point, for Lambo. His supply is plummeting right now, and just like that, Snute is moving in up the ramp, and GG is called. And Snute takes a 2-0 lead over his opponent. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between Snute and Lambo, and if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.